Hello, my friends. I am G Hondo, and welcome. I'm not entirely sure if this is just going to be a one-off or if I'm going to do an actual series or what, but I felt a mood to play a little bit of Railroad Tycoon 3, and I thought, since I know everyone loves trains as much as I do, why not record it? So, what I'm going to do here is, for now, I'm just going to play in, pop in a scenario, and we'll start at the bottom, I guess. Tex Mex. Fantastic. Sure, we can have some opponents, and medium's fine, and off we go. Like I say, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually make this a running series, or if this is just a one-off. Um, Hard to say. For now, though, like I say, I just felt like playing some RT3, so we're going to play some RT3. My normal streams, I generally try and keep episodes to about 15-20 minute mark. With this one, I'm not going to put such a limitation on. This video could be short, could be long. I guess it really depends on how well I do. So I'm going to leave all these screens on the screen here for a little bit, so if you want to read them, you can just pause and read. I myself am just skim reading. So, okay, that should do. And we can do diesel or electric. I am a fan of electric. Diesel's good too. The main difference being running costs. Electric's more expensive, but you don't need to stop as often for maintenance. So your trains tend to run better. I'm going to go electric because, like I say, I am a fan of electric. Let's go ahead and create a company. No reason ever not to put your whole money in, and I don't know if I'm even going to bother playing the stock market on this mission, so we'll leave that. It's fine. And we'll give ourselves a new name. We will call this the Hondo Tex Mex because I have no originality whatsoever. Now let's find us a nice little symbol, something that looks sort of like Tex Mex. That'll do. Perfect. I receive a track subsidy, 25% for using it. Oh, that's fantastic. I guess it's not going to cost that much more to lay this track. That's fantastic. What I am going to do is turn the camera so it's facing north, because that's going to bug me if it doesn't. Okay, so obviously Dallas is a great place to start. It's already a 2.5-star city. For those of you not terribly familiar with the game, the more stars a city has, the bigger it is, and thus the more goods it can both produce and absorb. And generally speaking, more stars means more money. And the main trick to this game is getting yourself profitable, because it's very, very easy to bankrupt yourself, especially early on, because you don't start with a lot of money, and everything is so expensive. So I think we're going to start with just a really, really quick, simple train, just Dallas to Fort Worth. It's not going to make much, but it gets us going. Actually, I'm not even sure that's worthwhile. Maybe let's go up to... See, there's no other good cities nearby. Shreveport's decent, but it's in a new territory. Maybe Nacogdoches. Or Waco. Those are the only ones that are a full star. See, Fort Worth, Dallas would be good, but they're so close together, I'm not sure we're actually going to make much money off it, even though it is larger. Maybe to Wichita Falls. Okay, I think that's what we'll do. We'll run Wichita Falls through Fort Worth into Dallas. Okay, so let's go ahead and build some track. Again, for those unfamiliar, you'll see there's a whole bunch of numbers as I'm running this. Obviously, the 82K is the cost, but all those 1 zeros and those couple of 2s, that's referring to the grade of the track. Generally speaking, lower numbers are better, and it helps you with that by making them green. When I get over to really hilly terrain, you'll see the numbers start to spike. It's basically the percentage grade, and those slow down trains immensely if there's too much of a grade. I forgot to put on electric. There we go. And there we go, we're into Wichita Falls, so now we can go ahead and build stations. We might get away with a... No, we need a medium. Okay, we'll make a medium. Down here, we'll take a medium, and we'll make a nice large station for Dallas. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll then we'll plunk in a maintenance facility. Let's put that, say, at Fort Worth. And a service tower. For most trains, especially the old steam trains, this would give both sand and water. Sand helps them climb hills, and water they need to actually run. With electric trains, you only take the sand, and with grades this low, I think we can just have a single service tower somewhere, and we'll probably hardly ever even use it. Okay. Next, we'll add ourselves a train. Alright, what do we have to choose from? I'm only going to look at the electric. The one advantage of taking electric is you can still run a normal diesel train on an electric track, but you cannot run an electric train on an unelectrified track. So if you have been working with on an electrified track and diesel engines, you have to stick with them. By paying for the electrification of the rails, you're allowed to go either way, so that's helpful. Okay, so we're not overly worried about high grades on this one, because this is a very flat track. So we really are just looking at speeds, and I'm also keeping a bit of an eye up here on the fuel economy, acceleration, and reliability, because those are also factors. They all have the same passenger appeal, so that won't make any difference for passenger traffic. These two both have very fast acceleration. This one has a much better high speed, so I think we're going to go with the E60CP. Okay, and we're going to have that one basically running just like we talked about from Wichita Falls via Fort Worth and into Dallas. The other thing I like about this game, as opposed to a lot of other train games, is you'll notice that if I can go in here, I can set what it's going to actually haul, but I don't have to. I can leave it on any kind of cargo, which means it will simply pick up whatever's going to make the most money. I can tell it just freight, which means it'll ignore passenger traffic, or just express, so it's only going to do passenger traffic. I think troops count as express as well. Maybe mail. Yeah, I think it's mail, passengers, and troops. But either way, at this point, I don't care what it hauls, I just want to make some money. I could add a caboose. Shouldn't really be necessary. This is a pretty short run. It's not very hilly. We have a maintenance station. I don't think we really need that. And dining cars, really good if you are doing an express train for passengers, because that makes it worth more, but we're not doing that. So we'll just leave that, and we're going to we'll just do 4. So it'll take any 4, up to 4 things from each of these stations that it can make some money off of, and it'll haul off. Well, so we'll go ahead and buy that, and I always like, yes, thank you for telling me that I made a track. Thank you so much. I always like, especially for the first couple of trains, I like to watch them go. I know that's awfully nerdy, but it's just a thing I do. So we'll let this roll. And you can see the speed down here. This yellow bar is trying to give you a kind of an indication of approximately how far it is to its destination, and the color is its speed. So at top speed it'll be a bright green. If it was, say, going up a really steep hill and going really slow, it would be a very dark red. But anyway, so it's loaded us up with some new equipment here, and we expect to make about 34k a profit on that run, approximately. The values do slowly drop as the train runs, so like right now it's going to say that this stuff it's sending, don't care about that, this stuff it's sending is worth 269. You can see how fast it's ticking down, because stuff does, I don't know if it's a decay thing or just, you know, the prices are not staying, but either way, whatever amount it says it's going to make when it first leaves is not what it's actually going to make. It'll be close, but it will not match, so that's something to keep in mind. But either way, this is clearly a very good route. Now, because it's generally running, here, let me see if I can explain this a little bit. I'll pause it and we'll come back out. If I look at the goods, you'll see all these little wagons, or I guess they're little trains, but whatever. If I just let these things run, be easier to see on a higher speed, and we'll pick, say, corn. Sure. Okay, you'll notice how these are moving on their own. I don't have any trains around here. These are moving on their own. The people, yes, thank you. The people, I think they're called tycoonatrons, I think. But the people in this area are on their own moving cargo, so they can make money too. So what that means is, for us is any stations we connect, because earlier, like before we started, cargo was already flowing to them, and there's already stuff waiting. The very first train that runs through any station will be probably the most profitable one it'll ever run. After that, there'll be less for it to do. The values will drop off a bit. But the very first run is almost always the best one. So, okay. Now, see down here a red line. That means that's one of our opponents has connected Austin to San Antonio. Nice for them. I'm not sure if the other opponents have started yet. I don't see any other lines on the map here. So they may just not have started yet. It does give you a tiny bit of time without the opponents doing anything just to get started, so you can pick your first cities. Okay. Now, from here, I think the next thing we'll do is we'll connect up to Lawton and work our way towards Oklahoma City. We might even have enough to do it all in one shot. Let's see if we can. Electric is on. Tunnels, we'll have them as average, bridges as average, and they're more expensive, but I am going to take the stone bridge, so there's no cut in speed. If you cheap out and take the wooden bridge, or even the iron bridge, which is kind of in between, trains have to slow down a lot to cover over a bridge. Bridges are very expensive, but it's really unavoidable. Okay, so let's cut in through Lawton here. Beautiful. Again, this is all fairly flat land. Actually, the worst part of the thing here, this 4% grade, is actually because of our own bridge. Silly. But you see how it's kind of a yellow color? It means it knows it's a little bit of a slowdown. It's not too bad. 4s are still okay. It's only when it gets into the higher numbers that you really need to worry. Let's try and cut in kind of in the middle here. That'll do. Beautiful. We'll give them... No, that's going to be a big city, I think, so we'll give them a large station. Lawton... Yeah, just a medium should do. Wichita we already have, so we'll put another maintenance in. I guess we'll use Lawton. And again, a service tower. Don't really need it, but we'll have it anyway. So what we'll do is I'll connect Oklahoma City to Wichita via Lawton. What that means is, say for example, there's any traffic, either passengers or cargo, in Oklahoma that want to get to Dallas, now they can, because they can move to Wichita, and then the other train can move them the rest of the way. So it is pretty clever about having stuff moving where they want to go, which is very nice. So this will be Oklahoma, Lawton to Wichita. Again, 4 of anything is fine. That's a diesel. I like the electrics. So we're going to go with an electric, and once again, just because I can, I'm going to watch the train go. Because that's actually one of the more fun parts of this game for me, is watching the trains. So. And this first run, it's thinking it's going to be worth about 80, which is pretty good. And about 150 to the next spot, which is also very good. Yeah, it's nice when these tracks are so flat. Like the train is so close to flat, you don't have any big hills to worry about. There are some maps that are just brutal. I remember one in the campaigns, because I have played through the campaigns before, where you're trying to go through the mountains. I think it's the Alps, if I remember right. But it's all mountains. It's terrible. It's hard to even make a path through them, and even if you can, the grades of the slopes are just brutal. And that's going to make a good 70 coming back. See, this is a good route too. And the other thing, of course, is not only is every train going back and forth making you money, but the more you're expanding, you'll tend to see that the other trains, like this train here that I have, the first one, will now start making just that little bit more money, because Wichita will have more goods that are coming from further abroad. So the more you spread out, the better it is. That's why getting a good start is so important. If you spend a lot of money on a route at the beginning, it's not that great, and so you can't afford a second one, you're stuck. Whereas if you get a decent first route, that gives you enough money to expand it, and once you expand it, then it's all gravy from there. So, alright, I think we'll go towards Tulsa next. I don't like that little river, but I don't think we're going to be able to avoid it. That's okay. No, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, and we'll have probably just a medium station. That'll do. I will add another service and maintenance facility down here along the way, and I'm just going to have a single train just running for now, Tulsa to Oklahoma. Later on, we might have Tulsa connect somewhere else, but for now, it'll just service Oklahoma Tulsa. There we go. And you know the drill. We watched the first one. Now it's the end of the year, so the thing should pop up the end of year report. See how the shareholders think I'm doing. Let them complain that I'm not making them enough money, because it's never enough for these people. Just like in real life. There it is. Okay. Oh, they're actually fairly happy with me, so they've given me personal money. We haven't looked at that yet, and I'm not sure I'm going to on this mission. Unless I have to. Oh, I do have to. Oh, for the gold condition I have to. So I do actually have to play the stock market a bit to make sure my personal net worth is high enough. And I do have to eventually get to these cities as well with... Oh, I didn't notice that. I need to make some changes right away. The trains that I'm set right now, where they're set to do any traffic, like any cargo, have both a combination of freight and express. Well, any one that's got any express on it at all counts. And I wasn't paying enough attention during the briefing, apparently. But this mission also wants you to worry about express speed. So what I'm going to do is for all of my trains, I'm going to set them for now to freight only. And that will fix that problem for now. And what I'll have to do at some point, oops, that's not what I wanted at all. What I'll have to do is make an actual express train at some point to fix that. So I'll just buzz through my train. Let's make sure, yeah, they're all the little purple squares, which is freight only. So I've already ran a couple of trains here, so I've got a bit of a mess going, but I think it should still be salvageable. And since we have to play the stock market, now is as good a time as any to go ahead and do that. So you can see here, that's me, there's the opponents. So they each have their own company. I started off with about 10% of my own company here. And obviously they each get, like if I look at this guy, right, 10%. I don't know why I've got an 80,000 share already, but whatever, doesn't matter. So what I need to do in order to make sure I have enough wealth, it's a combination of obviously my actual salary from being the chief director of this company, but I also can make money by manipulating the stock market, buy low, sell high, that sort of thing. But also, there's one other one I can do. If I just invest heavily, either in my company or another one, but mine's the best, because I can actually govern what it is. We also get dividends. So as long as I have, a good number of shares and a decent dividend, that just pays me money too. It basically transfers money from the company to me directly. So that's very, very helpful. So what I'm going to do, I can't currently afford one of my own, another 1,000 shares of stock because you can only buy it in 1,000 increments or more. But I can buy it on margin, and I have enough stock value that I think I can float it. Now, if your money goes negative, you actually do pay interest on it, but the percentage seems very, very low from what I can tell. So what I make off the dividend will probably pay for it anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up another one. Eventually, I do want to buy out most, if not all, of these. I don't know if I can get them all, but if I can get a lot of them, then I can really manipulate how much money I'm making by manipulating the dividend, which is here. Right now it's set to 50 cents a share, so the company is currently spending 40,000 per year, and it's divided out amongst all the shares. Since I have now 8,000 shares, I think. Was it 8? Yes, 8,000 shares. So I'm going to make 4,000 a year just off of dividends if I don't make any changes. So that's pretty fun. The other thing I could do to really mess things around, I could either issue more stock to make some money for the company or buy back stock to increase my percentages. There's fun stuff I can play with, but I'm not going to do too much of that right now. I'm mostly just going to be living off the dividend. So anyway, with that aside, let us continue on. Now we don't have enough money to build any kind of track or anything yet. I could take out bonds if I wanted to. The other thing I could do, I could start buying... Oh, apparently that was a very fast train. Okay, anyway. All over the map are all these little industries, like for this one, for example, producing grain. You actually can buy them, and then however much they make or lose is for your company. I'm going to go ahead and buy this one. It's a decent investment. It basically is making around 30k a year. I paid a little over 300. So in 10 years, it's paid for itself. After that, pure profit. And if I actually connect, I could actually make a little train to service it, have it go even faster, especially if I bring a fertilizer over to it. But now, any corn that this thing's making, all this profit, it goes to me. And because I have now connected Tulsa, so things are moving in and out of here faster, there's more incentive. Well, it looks like this one was only going to Tulsa anyway. But if this one were trying to service several other cities, this would kind of give it incentive to go to mine because it's connected by a train. And they would much prefer to haul things by train than hauling things manually themselves using wheelbarrows and rafts. So, anyway, we'll continue along here while we try and decide. Oh, I can see, yeah, the other opponents have. Now, Houston was one of the ones I needed, I think. Yes, so I'll probably end up doing. I don't know if I'm just going to connect to them and then run trains using their track, which I still make money off of, but I'm allowed to use their track and station. I just have to pay them for it. Or if I'm just going to at some point build my own station here and just kind of bypass that. I don't know. We'll see. And then Austin was another one, right? Yes. What I could do, I guess I could just directly connect Houston to Austin for now. Oh, is San Antonio one as well? Okay, all three of them are like right here. Wow, okay. That's interesting. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to float some bonds. No, I'm not, apparently. Am I not allowed to take out bonds? Oh, I cannot issue bonds. Well, that slows things down greatly. Normally, you just float some bonds, basically borrow money from the bank, and then you could expand using that. We can't do that. That is strange. I really should have paid more attention to the briefing before I started this. Oh well. We'll be alright. We're doing okay anyway. We're profiting year over year, so really all we have to do is, at this point then, is just wait until we make enough money to do it ourselves. I'm not entirely sure how much money it's going to take to connect those. What I can do, I'll just pause here for a second. I won't be able to actually lay the track, but just to get an idea, ballpark 1.2 to get from there to there, and about, okay, so it's going to be about 2 million to do what I want to do. What I want to do is basically just create two lines here, so these triangulate without using their lines. So I'll have a train Houston-San Antonio and another one Houston-Austin. Anything going between Austin and San Antonio, they've already got locked in. You pay a percentage based on the percentage of your run that uses their track. So by all rights, I could buy a train, tell it to do San Antonio to Austin right now, and it'd be fine. It would make however much it makes. Since I'm using 100% of the track, they get 100% of the revenue. I just pay for the maintenance on the train. So I could slowly send myself into bankruptcy if I really wanted to. Not so clever. Now, if, for example, though, I had, say, a train from Dallas to San Antonio via Austin, then I would pay them the, 20% or so of this track versus the 80% or so, I'm just ballparking it, of that. So that I could do. Oh, look, little plane. Isn't that cute? Anyway. But regardless, we either just need to wait till we have a lot of money, or I could basically just work with the small amounts and try and just, connect smaller areas around here. I could take that Tulsa, Oklahoma train and tie in Woodward. I might be able to afford that. I won't be able to afford the station for route yet, probably, but I might be able to at least. Nope, not even close. Never mind. Let's just put the speed up. We have to wait till we make a lot more money. And it's raining. Isn't that delightful? Yeah, maybe I should have picked a different scenario to play. I really don't like not being able to float bonds, because that's a fantastic way to get you going early on. Later on, when your company is making enough money on its own, you don't really need it. It's fine, but this early on, when you don't have a whole lot happening, well, on the upside, I am the only one that's making any money. Theoretically, if they get down low enough, I could end up buying them out in a bankruptcy takeover. And that would be one way to connect some of these, so keep an eye out for that, because that might be something that happens. I'm not sure if they're allowed to take out bonds. I know I'm not allowed to. I don't know if the same rules apply to them. If not, they may very well be failing here, because they're already deeply in debt and are just losing more. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe I may just end up buying them on bankruptcy. Meanwhile, in personal cash, I'm still negative in personal cash, but plenty of stock, so a fifth of a million there of the, 25 mil? Yeah, that's going to be tough, but we'll get there. We'll see what we can do. And off we go. I definitely won't be able to afford another train by the time I get this track over here, but if I can at least get the track connected, then I can just take that existing train that's not doing a whole heck of a lot. Come here. Yeah, it's not doing anything. There's nothing in Tulsa right now to go to Oklahoma City, so this run is, I still pay for the fuel and the maintenance, but it's not making a dime. That's not good. And because we don't even have the 40K, they've shut off the dividend, so. Okay, now the economy is growing, which means everyone will simply be in better moods, everything will be worth more money, we'll all profit more. That's a good thing. Also means our share price will have jumped up. So my purchasing power has increased even though nothing here has happened. Now without the dividend, I may not be able to pay this down quickly enough. I may have to do something with that, but that can wait a little bit. For now, I'll just wait. Is this train at least gonna... No, it's literally doing nothing. I don't like that much. Don't like that much at all. Guess I need to wait for the other trains to make some money. Oh, there's finally a little bit of milk on that one to go. But it's not much. So much for growing prosperity. I seem to be doing much worse now. Well, I don't know what to say. This is really not good. Because even in a growing prosperity, we are not getting anywhere here. It's slowly falling apart. That is not good. So, Alright, well, what we'll do... Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. I needed to fix the express route anyway, so what I'm going to do, if I can find this Tulsa train, I'm going to take Tulsa off for now. What I'm going to do is, instead of this train being Oklahoma to Tulsa freight, instead it's going to be Oklahoma City to Dallas Express. It will only take 2 cars at a time, plus a dining car, because I might as well make some money. Yeah, we might as well make some money off it. No, we do 3. We'll do 3 in a dining car, but it's an express only. And very, very, very important, I'm going to up its priority. That way, it hasn't happened yet because I don't have enough trains, but in this game, you don't have to manually add sidings for trains to be using the same track like you do in a lot of other games. They will automatically take care of that. What happens is one train just stops, and it's to simulate that it's stopped, it's pulled off to the side to let the other train go by. I don't mind if the freight cars stop, but we have to get a certain speed for the express. So I want this one to never be the one that stops. Normally, when 2 trains of the same priority get to a spot, it lets the one that has more valuable cargo go, and the one with less valuable cargo is the one that waits. But I want this one to always go regardless of how much the cargo is worth. So hopefully that will help. Now this was already... Oh, I forgot to take Tulsa off. Whoops. Right. Okay. So that was my mistake. Okay, so now we're going to go to Oklahoma, and there are in fact passengers to go, which is good, and we'll keep an eye on the speed here. It really should have no trouble getting up to a good speed here. And it's a good long run, so it has a long time to do that, so that should help. Yes, I know, we're not making any money, so the shareholders are mad at me. Excuse me. I am very aware of that. Oh yeah, this will really help our average speed. What I'll probably do is only just have this one train doing it. That way I know it's always going to be running at a good speed. Not to mention decent amounts of money. So that will be helpful. Now these stops for sand and maintenance obviously really cut your time down. So that's the main reason I want a really long run, so it has time to get back up to speed. Hopefully. But we'll see how it goes. If my average speed isn't really climbing that much, I may have to add a second train later. Maybe even just doing like a single car. Kind of just like a, like a super express. Anyway, that's going to haul some stuff back and actually make a decent amount of money. So actually, if nothing else, this may help our profit problem as well. Because definitely this is now at least doing something, whereas when it was up doing that Oklahoma-Tulsa route, it was giving us nothing but expense. So this could be good. Yeah, that's a decent speed. It's good too that there's so little grade, so we're hardly ever going to have to stop for sand. We'll still have to do all the normal maintenances, but that's not too bad. Hey, we're finally going to be back in the black in a minute. Briefly, anyway. Because this will bring us back up to about... Oh, never mind, we just paid a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we may not get back in the black, but at least we'll be near it. There we go. Hey, we're back in, briefly, in business. There are no passengers at all. Alright, this is not so good. I'm starting to think maybe I should have started down here, because these are at least 2 very good cities, and they're a fair ways apart, whereas where I started only had 1 really good city, and it was very close. it's not a direct distance equals profit, but there's a tendency for it to go that way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Well, on the upside, I have made enough off my salary to pay off that debt, so I am at least back in positive. I could jump back in and buy more stock, but I don't need to yet, especially when I'm not making any dividend. There's no real point. Really would like... Well, what I can do... I can't do bonds, but I could issue stock. It cuts down the value of the stock and therefore my percentage, but it would get an influx of cash, and you can only do that twice per year. But that might just be enough to get this going here. Yes, okay. And the other thing you'll notice, even though I have this rail basically, pointing so it'll go this way, any train coming, say, this way can still turn here. You don't need to build both sides. It looks really strange when it does it, because the train will come up here and kind of like crack itself doing this horrible 130-degree angle, but it will do it, so it's fine. Okay. There we go. Now, I don't have anywhere near enough to buy another train for that. So, let's have a look at... Is this train doing anything? No. Okay, so we're going to make another change to it. And this train is now once again going to be up here. Oh, I haven't even built the station. Oh, gee. That's no good. That's absolutely no good. Built the track, haven't built the station. The smallest station, still 50K. Alright, we will continue to wait. But I'm quite sure I'm just going to take that same train that I switched to Express, bring it back up here and let it try cargo. I'm hoping adding Woodward will be enough, but I'm not sure it will be. Oh, all three of them have bankrupted out. That didn't take long. They are very angry at me because I only made $64,000 this year, which is, for a company, nothing. But at least I'm not bankrupt like all those are. Very close to, but not quite. Okie dokie. So, oh, am I even allowed to buy... I can't start multiple companies, but I can take over. Okay. So that's something we may end up doing. Oh, somebody actually bought into my company. How nice of them. Anyway. We're so close to that. It was October I last issued stock, so I can wait until October and then I can do that again. I have enough now, actually, to do it. It'll have to be just a small station, but that's okay. There's not going to be a whole lot there, but hopefully there'll be something. Well, we actually have a little bit to go in this time. Okay. So maybe I will just wait until I can buy a new train. How much is that? 450,000. Yowzas. Okay. That is significantly more than I thought it was going to be. Anyway. That is significant. These people have even smashed themselves into personal debt trying to... I guess they're probably trying to save their companies from bankruptcy, but I think it's probably too late for them. Anyway. What would it actually take? Well, it would still take quite a bit. they stay in a bankrupt state long enough, at some point the game will pop up and basically just say that, you know, the government's taken them over, and you can then buy it off the government for, I don't remember how much it is, but it's much, much less. So we could just wait and do that, or I might, if I'm able to, I'd like to buy one of them earlier. Preferably this one, because that's got two of the cities we want. That's the little sunrise at San Antonio. What's the name of the actual? Never mind, we'll do it this way. San Antonio, Austin, that's a very nice name. So this is the one that if I can, I'd like to get a hold of first. But again, that's not something I can do yet, because the company's barely floating itself. It has certainly improved, but it's still not. Oh, and then of course the economy slides out. Anyway. Yeah. Which is unfortunate, because that'll drop our share price, which in turn means when I go to issue new stock, we'll get a lot less for it. But anyway. So, can I now buy them out? Nope, not even at the lowest price. See, this is another way I could make personal money. If I do invest in them, say for example I buy maybe 5,000 shares of them or something, when I go to take them over, I could drastically overbid for it. Not only would that mean, you know, the public at large be much more likely to accept, but then I also get that money for me. So that's an option as well. But for now, maybe it would be worth, if I could get to Amarillo there, that one would be a decent city to connect to. The other thing I could do with the money I'm at, might be worthwhile just investing it into, it's too expensive, but into an industry. Because no matter what the economy's doing, they tend to be pretty steady income. So that might not be a bad thing to do either. Already bought that one. What else have we got around here? Dairy farm would be way too expensive. That's a house. We have here a couple of dairy farms that are too close together. Grain farm there. Well, it's not a terrible investment. We might buy that if I don't find anything better soon. Just houses. Corn farm. It's a bit too expensive. Logging camp. Well, it's not doing anything. Do we have anything that wants pulpwood on our tracks? No. Do we have anything that wants logs anywhere near here? Not really. Okay. I mean, maybe later we can connect down here, sure, but right now, there's not a lot of point in buying this, even though it is pretty cheap, because it's not able to make any money, so there's no real point. Let's keep looking. Dairy farm, too expensive. Grain farm, it's not bad. Way too expensive. You can tell approximately how much they're going to want, because it's usually around 10 to 12 times what they want, what they make in a year. So around, if this one's, yeah, 2.2 mil, so it's a little over 2 to 10 times what they tend to be making. So you can always kind of guess just looking real quick at that. You don't even always have to hover over the buy button. Cotton farm that just started, so we don't know how they're going to do. Cow ranch is too expensive. There is not a lot of demand unless you go way down there. So I don't think this is going to make much. So we're not going to buy it, even though it's brand new, it's cheap. I don't think it's actually going... There's another one here. This one's established. So it looks like they're going to make about 20 a year. That's not great. I'm wondering if I'm better to just make this train, or if I should wait until I can connect it to here and have it be a much more meaningful route. This appears to be on a hill, which is not really ideal, but anyway. Let's see if we can get it most of the way there before we run out of money. Not really, but yeah, it's alright. We may just have to wait till November and float some more stock again. Yes, we are actually making money at this point, which it doesn't look like. Our share prices are in the toilet. It might not be a terrible thing just to go ahead and buy a little bit of them, just in case I do decide to actually go at them. Doesn't cost much. Not bad at all. That is okay. Another diesel, not interested. Well, halfway through the year and we're breaking even. That's not good. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit better. Either way, though, this is brutally slow and not real good. So we're going to probably have to issue some more stock. Won't be worth a whole heck of a lot, but it's better than nothing. Alright. I don't think we're going to be able to connect these, and I'm not sure I want to connect through that horrible mess anyway. I think we may want to just break off down here somewhere. Just to avoid the worst of that hill. Alright, so we're almost there. I'm glad that this mission allows disconnected track. There are some where you can't just do that. You have to have all track connected. And that's annoying because you may sometimes need to try and build it from the other side just to make it easier to see. It just won't let you. Well, there goes Houston Huntsville. And at this rate, I might not be far behind them. In the meantime, okay, good. This is ticking up nicely, so that one train I'm using for that was a good idea. Well, share price is down to $1. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of them. In fact, what I think I'm going to do, because it doesn't cost all that terribly much, 3614 there. I now own more than half of the company, which means if I do decide to buy it out, no one can say a word about it. In fact, I can make $4 off my $1. I could actually personally profit. Yay! As soon as I get to 120K. Because what will happen is in that vote, the general public will vote based on how much you offer. Like, for example, if I just offer the 2 it is now, they'll probably say no because there's no point. But if I offer 4, that's an improvement, they'll say yes. The other investor, like the other guy here, not sure what he'll do. The original owner, if he was still in charge, would always say no matter what. And I always say yes because, of course, I'm the one trying to do it. But since I own more than 50%, it actually becomes irrelevant what these people vote for. Just like politics. So I think I'll just wait until we have enough money. I'll just buy them out, sell off their assets, or try to use their assets better than they did. And yeah, that'll be fantastic. So I'll dump 120 in to get $4, and that's it. Oh, in fact, they're all for it because they just want to squeeze out whatever they can too. So there we go. I have taken over the Houston Huntsville. And unfortunately, though, that also means we get their debt, which is less ideal, but let's see what we can do. So that at least gives us Houston. Now, what are you actually doing? Okay, so you have trains that are set to go really, really heavy and aren't. Okay. Well, congratulations. You're not doing that anymore. In fact, you have 2 trains. That's even less than ideal. Okay. Okay. Now, again, actually, yeah, let's do that. That's fine. It does seem pointless to have 2 trains for such a terrible track. Because neither of them are likely making anything. Yeah, they're both failing pretty badly. And they're diesel, so this isn't even an electric track. Ugh. Yuck. Yeah, those are both the same. Okay. I can't remember if there's a way to actually sell these vehicles. I can't remember if there is or not. Or if you expect us to just, you know, change the route a bit so it's better. Because in all reality, I don't want to be paying maintenance for both of these trains. And the maintenance isn't, you know, terrible, but I see no point in paying it for a train that's never going to make any money. Well, we shall see, I guess. Now, this is a pretty hefty level of debt. I can foresee some very unhappy shareholders. But I made a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot. I made, what, about 20 grand, made close to 40 off of personal money off of doing that, which I guess is good. This guy might very well be next. This one's sort of not recovering, but at least holding steady. So we'll see how it goes. I think now's a good time to have a little bit of more of my own. I don't know how we're going to pay all this off without bonds. That's the other thing bonds are good for, is you can help fix your balance temporarily. Being this far in debt, just the interest, I don't think we can support, because it's going to be, yeah, about 50 grand a month, which is a little brutal, since the company only made 5K last year. I foresee this being a failure map, and that's fine. Well, we'll see what we can do, but I really don't think that we can fix this. I wonder, though, it's not connected track, but can I? Oh, isn't that interesting? We actually have stuff to send. Lots and lots and lots of them, and they're all worthless. I'm curious, could I? Yeah, no, okay, I can't. I was thinking maybe, you know, if I could have, you know, ship it over there some other way and have it come up here and work on that, but until I actually connect these tracks, that's not going to happen, and at this point, I'm not sure I can. I don't think I'm ever getting at this much debt. I'm quite sure the shareholders are going to scrap me. Well, that's fine. I don't mind. It's a little unfortunate having my first video in a series, assuming I do a series, and I'm starting to think I'm going to. It's a bit of a shame to have the first one in a series be a failure mission, but that's okay. We're having fun, and that's all that matters. I don't think we're crawling out of this hole somehow. So maybe buying out a bankrupt company wasn't the best plan after all. I just, I don't know how they were allowed to go into that much debt without bonds. Yep, that should do it. I have 1 year to magically fix everything. I don't foresee that happening. So, I think I basically have 1 more year to live, effectively. Well, we can issue some stock just to slightly dent it, but even that wasn't anywhere near enough to pay the interest. Yeah, I can't even do that. Because officially, we made a little tiny bit of money in 98. So despite everything after that, I can't even do that to try and save myself. That's not so good. I may just have to accept a failure here. That's unfortunate. Almost like to make this negative. I can start paying back into the company out of my personal wealth, but it wouldn't even make a dent. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter in the slightest. We're all doing terribly. This is a tough map, clearly. Or at least it is if you do it as poorly as I did, and as poorly as the AI did. We are just waiting for the last moments, and there we go. That's it. G Hondo is no longer in charge of G Hondo. And with that, my game is over. Alright, well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me today. I was originally not sure if I was going to make this an actual series or just a one-off. I'm starting to think I'm going to do a series. I don't know that I'll ever play the campaign properly, because there's a few missions I like and quite a few I didn't like. But these scenarios, I do enjoy them, so I am looking forward to retrying this scenario, see if I can get myself some vengeance. And I'll see you guys at that point. So I hope you've enjoyed the last hour hanging out with me, and I hope your day's been calm and relaxing, just like mine has been, playing this game. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye now.